What's up, everybody? It's Ryan Clements, editor at IGN.com, and I'm joined by Mark Ryan Salee.
How's it going?
Hello, you're the executive editor of IGN Game Help and also famous Soulcalibur critic. But we don't have to talk about that today because it is exciting news for Soulcalibur fans. We have the first teaser trailer for Soulcalibur 5.
Hey, just real quick, right back there, we saw the logo for
Yes.
Project Soul, which is the development team that's been doing these games since, what, Soulcalibur 2?
Yes, exactly. They've been behind the series for quite a while now, so no craziness is happening with the development team. And we open with a book here, which if we go back just a few frames, you'll notice that there is actually some readable text on some of these pages. We see Sophia Taki's name come up, we see Soul Edge and Soulcalibur mentioned. So there's definitely a lot here. It's very difficult to make out what most of this is saying.
I need thicker glasses.
Yes, you need, well, we all need glasses. But I would guess that that's just a surmising exactly, what happened in the previous games. Surmising is a word, right?
Yeah, that sounds about
right.
right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But anyway, we have our first image here that's sort of notable because we have the famous phrase that's been in this series for a long time. Obviously, this series has a lot of references to history and to a story being told over and over again.
It's not real history, by the way.
It's certainly not real history, but it's way more interesting than real history.
It is.
And we have if you could go back a couple frames here, we have our first sight of the two great swords, Soulcalibur on the left, the holy sword, and Soul Edge on the right, the evil sword.
So wait, there are two swords?
There are two swords. Soulcalibur was created from Soul Edge. Soul Edge was first created by human hands.
Soul Edge is the bad one, right?
Soul Edge is the bad one, covered in the blood of countless ages, first wielded by the hero king Algol, and he tamed it because he was such a badass, but then ever since then it's just sort of gotten a mind of its own, and it corrupts whoever takes it.
I think you just earned your geek credentials.
Well, I had them long ago.
Okay.
And Soulcalibur was then created after Algol had to kill his own son over that sword. So Soulcalibur was created from purified fragments of Soul Edge. So basically we have the good sword came from the evil one.
All right. So what's going on here?
So if we go back, we have our first sight of Siegfried.
Now this guy's been around since the first game,
Yes.
Soul Edge.
Yes, he's been around since the first game, and then he kind of became the villain for a while when he was corrupted by Soul Edge, and he took the form of Nightmare. But since then, Nightmare, who appears right here wielding Soul Edge, Nightmare is now its own entity, sort of an amalgamation of all the evil crap that's been happening to these people. So
He doesn't look like he's doing well.
Right here we see the two of them. It looks like they've already crossed swords, but if we go forward a little bit more, they actually are going to get all up in here and give a big slash. You'll notice this is like, at first I thought that Siegfried was getting his ass kicked, but it looks like both of them slash simultaneously. We have a huge explosion that comes up, and it's so powerful it cracks the screen.
Yeah,
Mark Ryan.
you know what? I think when that scene starts, this is actually sort of going in reverse.
Right.
It shows, the aftermath. It's like him, and then they show it in forward. I don't know. Is there any significance to that?
I mean, there might be. It might just be a stylistic choice here for whoever directed this trailer. But yeah, you could actually be seeing the aftermath of that clash when Nightmare's picking up his weapon again. But so if we go forward a little bit more, we're going to see a couple more notable things. We have reality exploding. Then we have Soulcalibur kind of slowly spinning towards the camera here.
The good blade again.
The good blade. I know, it's tough to keep track. So then we get Siegfried, an image of Siegfried, and a little more time in here. If we pause here, we can only assume that this is Sophia.
This is probably Sophia,
yeah. Another famous character in the series, noted by her pendant that she has, and also her clothing as well. But the one thing that we should note is that this series has been said by, I believe, series producer Hisaharu, that this game is going to be set 17 years after the events of Soulcalibur 4. Right?
Well, she's eternally pretty, so.
She is eternally pretty. So true.
That's the other part of the tagline.
She does. Another part of the story is that she has two children, Pyrrha and Patroklos.
Yep.
And we know that Patroklos is going to be the main character, or somehow very important to Soulcalibur 5.
Patroklos is the son.
Is the son.
Pyrrha, the daughter.
Pyrrha and the daughter. Now, Pyrrha, could this be like, kind of a throwback to Sophia, and this could be Pyrrha 17 years later?
It's possible.
Maybe, but it's probably just Sophia, and she still looks really pretty because this is Japan. So anyway, if we keep going forward, we have another image of Nightmare here. so you know the reason that these two characters are going to play a role, Pyrrha and Patroklos, is because they were influenced in previous games by Soul Edge, the bad sword.
While they were still children.
Yes. Well, they were children, and so growing up, maybe one of them has been corrupted, the other one has not. We don't really quite know exactly what's going to be happening yet, but Sophitia, in the meantime, has been sort of defending the dark sword because it has an inherent connection with her children, and she doesn't want her children to die.
Just sort of a twist, because originally she's a good character, obviously.
Oh yeah, she's been on many quests to help people. So I think this is actually a really important part of the trailer here. As you can see, we have the fragments of Soul Edge combining and kind of almost overlapping Soulcalibur and taking it over. Now, I think this is an important part of the trailer because, as I said before, the two swords were originally of the same blade, and then Soulcalibur was made from, kind of whole off of purified fragments.
I think it's important too because it looks cool.
It looks hella cool. And as you'll see, now it's like a slightly modified version. Soul Edge is a constantly shape-shifting sword, but
yeah, it looked a little bit different than
exactly. You'll see the face, the kind of the holy-looking face of Soulcalibur. If we go back a few frames.
To when like Nightmare was wielding.
Here. Yeah, we'll see you see sort of the image of a face right underneath the main gem of Soulcalibur here, and then when the Soul Edge collapses over it, then we have like a very evil-looking face. Oh, it's so evil, it's got skull teeth. But basically, what I think is maybe Soulcalibur is going to be destroyed or reclaimed in this game, and that's going to be a central plot point. Again, pure speculation, but might be cool. And here's like the big reveal, the big shocker of the trailer.
Yeah, because up till now, these have all been familiar characters.
Yes, exactly.
This guy's new.
This is, Mark Ryan and I believe, this is going to be Patroklos. 17 years after the events of Soulcalibur 4. He's a grown man now, wearing maybe some sort of military garb or something.
Yeah, you can see like, he's got the little gem on his right side that's, looks very similar to the stuff that Sophitia wears. So yes, it's probably Patroklos, the son of Sophitia.
Yes, and he has the family's beautiful blonde hair.
He does, and he's got a lynx on his left shoulder.
Some sort of poor animal that'll make him more stylish. Now you'll notice that he doesn't have the same eye color that runs in his family, the sort of bluish-greenish.
He looks a little evil.
He does look a little nasty here. Maybe he's just really angry. And
so it'll be interesting to see if he is in the game as a protagonist or an antagonist.
Or an antagonist, exactly. Mark Ryan, can you talk about this? What we saw, like maybe in the gem here? Forward a couple frames?
Yeah, if you slow it down just in his gem, again on his right breast, you can sort of see a reflection that almost looks like maybe it's a character. We can't make out who it is or what it is. It might just be the background, who knows? Yeah, it might be a cool little teaser though if we eventually find out that was like the silhouette of the main villain or something. And another thing we noticed in the reflection is the sword that Patroklos is wielding. It looks like it's a short blade. Definitely not one of the great swords. No, it's a short one-handed blade, just like Sophitia used. Exactly. And then the design on it, you can make out. Oh, and you can also see his shield, by the way. This is that sort of right there. It has the heart almost shaped emblem on there. So again, another indication that this is going to be Patroklos, Sophitia's son. Yep, definitely. And then at the end of the trailer, which we will see shortly after his evil, maybe, oh God, what are those eyes telling us? At the end of the trailer, we will see that a blade will drop down during the Facebook and Twitter plug for the company. I don't know, I want to say this looks a lot like the sword. I'm pretty sure that's the same sword we saw in that reflection. If we go back again, so get this image in your head with the all sorts of cool Greek designs and imagery here, and then if we go back to a couple frames earlier, and then we keep going right there. You see a lot of that same design there. So hey, maybe it's his sword, maybe not, or maybe we're all just talking out of our butts. But definitely, you think it falling foreshadows anything? Could foreshadow him getting killed, or it could just be cool. I don't think anyone ever dies in these games because they all just come back in some way or another. Because that's the beauty of magic. But that's pretty much all there is to this particular teaser trailer. They did have the date 2012. 2012, so going to be for next year. Next year for PS3 and 360. Really few other details besides the stuff that came out of the event in Dubai, which we know very little about. But definitely stay tuned. Keep it locked on IGN. We'll be covering Soulcalibur 5 as soon as we hear more stuff. Thank you very much, Mark Ryan. Yeah, thank you.